What is that? Excuse me? Sir, that's not allowed. Yeah, okay, we're back. I mean, that's a possible dev strike. Broadside Des Moines, 11 kilometers? Yes, sir. Hey guys, welcome back to World of Warships. Today we're taking a look at the Maine. Yes, finally time to take a look at what I think is the best battleship in the game. Satsuma, sure, has more accurate guns with its F key, which is also a ship we're going to take a look at soon. But Maine, for me, is the best overall battleship. When I am looking for a battleship, I want something that is going to consistently give me the dev strikes into those surely opportunities. But I'm also looking for a ship that isn't just accurate, but can tank a lot of damage. I want to be able to push up on flanks. I want to be able to apply a lot of pressure to the enemy team just by sheer tankiness alone. If we're playing a Satsuma, we're probably going to play pretty far back. And while the guns are incredible when you get that F key going, it's not quite as consistent per salvo, and it can no longer tank at closer ranges. Maine is the opposite of that. You're going to see a lot of games where I just push up very aggressively alongside with my DDs, oftentimes just like this, going towards an island that gives me some cover from a bunch of crossfire and farming ships that allows me to get very close to start with. Then I may use that to turn away, but generally I'm looking for opportunities to get close. And this is going to be a huge portion of your battle impact. As a battleship, you're not spotting, right? That's pretty simple. Your teammates are doing that for you. Your cruisers are doing a lot of utility work with either radars or just sustained DPM. You're looking for opportunities to hit the very critical targets before they get into very good position. So in this case, Des Moines gets to that island. That's going to be a big problem. Also, the enemy destroyer pushing our Shimakaze, also a pretty big problem. The closer we are, the more effective we're going to be against those ships. We also may bait some shots that may otherwise go towards our squishier ships, that kind of thing too. I love Maine. Now, there's a bit of bias here, of course, that I should mention. All the years playing in Kings of the Sea, Montana was my main ship. So it makes sense that Maine is one of my favorite ships in the game. The super version of Montana, one of my favorite tier 10s, Monty. And this one just continues that. Shooting at destroyers, make sure you're doing that as a battleship, especially when you have 16 guns. This is the main upgrade over Montana. More HP, pretty similar armor, higher in the water citadel actually, but pretty similar armor. But we get 16 guns with a slightly longer reload and worse Sigma, 1.7 Sigma versus 1.9 Sigma, 35-second reload instead of 30-second reload. But we're not really that focused on DPM when it comes to battleships. Notice here we're barely 4 minutes into the match, already on 100,000 damage. We're focused on Alpha Strike. We're focused on those opportunities we're getting once every minute, maybe, if we're lucky, or just when the enemy decides to go broadside onto us, they get caught in a bad position. That's what we're focused on. We're not focused on firing every cooldown, so I don't see this as much of a downside, actually, going to 35-second reload, especially to gain 4 guns for a full broadside. This makes the ship even more consistent. American accuracy upgrade here, showing off, I mean, German superstructure, man. This is why Hanover and the entire German battleship lines are kind of useless as brawlers, in my opinion. Maine is just so much better. We still have a pretty big superstructure here, but nowhere near that large. And oftentimes, we're just going to do so much more with these main guns. Double the main guns that Hanover gets. I mean, okay, I'll stop picking on Hanover. It's not the best super battleship. We already know that. But this poor Preußen, he's also, unfortunately, dealing with a halsey confed proc, one of the stronger, more easily accessible buffs that you can get from commanders here. 20% reload buff on a confed, a little easier to get than, say, Kraken with Yamamoto, for example. Satsuma, who is angled to us, bit of a blowout in this one. A lot of the super ship games are like that. Unfortunately, the matchmaker is not the most favorable these days. We'll collect our Kraken. Pretty good game here overall. Had a lot of fun with Maine for the most part. But I will say, it took me a while to get these games for you. A lot of my experiences were very fast, bursty games that didn't last very long. A lot of blowouts, unfortunately. A lot of campy games too, a lot of passive games, people not pushing up so much. And maybe that's why I also really enjoy playing Maine, is that it's a very passive meta at high tier, super ships tier especially. And having a ship that can tank a little bit, that can push up and apply so much pressure early on without feeling like you're throwing your ship away. I will say I've started trying to record for patrie. That one's got like no armor in comparison. It's a massive downside of that ship in comparison to Maine. Here's another example where we're going to push up using island chains with our team, and it's just going to go so well for us. You can't do this in every game. Notably, no carriers, of course, in this one. The submarine is getting pushed back as well. Fortunately, we really got to focus on that too. It's hard to push into those kinds of scenarios. But when you don't have to deal with that, these pushes work out so well. Monty, maybe not even expecting us this close, considering how passive the meta is. We're barely 3 minutes into this battle, and we're 12 kilometers away from this broadside Montana. And these are the surely opportunities. We need to land them. Yes, sir. That's a 50k hit already into that Monty. That's going to soften them up and be much less of a problem going forward into this game. You're not going to be able to push up like this every time. And in fact, a lot of the times I did end up going down because I would just over push. This is generally what I'm looking for. I also really got to point out the firing angles on Maine as a massive, massive bonus. 30-degree forward and 30-degree rearward firing angles is amazing, allowing us to be well angled to a lot of the incoming damage, still firing all our main guns. And most battleships with 16 guns don't have that. I mean, Colombo is a pretty wild exception these days, 22 degrees forward angles, but not kiting. I would have expected the firing angles to be a lot worse, shall we say, when going from Monty to Maine, but it's not. Pushing around the corner, we do have to finish off this Salem. A little worried about maybe getting a super heal. Got a couple of DDs pushed up here. Bit of a yoink, okay, fair enough, but we do want to support our teammates. Look at this. Look at this push we're making work here. This is pretty rare to get it working, so I do need to mention that. But it's possible with Maine. That's what I love so much about it. This is the gameplay that I love in World of Warships so much, where we're pushing as a team, we're making plays, and it feels like I'm playing the game. I'm actively participating in the battle, where if I was pre-kited on the H line and the enemy team was pre-kited on the C or B line, and we're just spamming HE at each other from 20 kilometers away, I don't really feel like I'm playing World of Warships at that point. And some ships in this game feel like they're forced to do that. That is their playstyle. So I don't enjoy them as much. And I guess this is why I get so much fun out of Maine. This isn't always going to work. This is essentially what every ship is designed to counter, but Maine is strong enough that we can make this work. Now, I should talk about the F key here. It's not that impactful, okay? It's no Satsuma F key, 35% better accuracy, anything like that. But it is very useful in that it can give us some time down between our damage controls where we don't really have to worry about fire damage too much. Still taking fire prevention in that, but it removes 65% of the tick rate of fire damage. So any fires you're eating, you click your F key, it's going to last for 45 seconds, and we're going to reduce fire and flood damage by 65%. That is very, very good. It means that when you're pushing and you get lit on permafires, you don't really have to worry about it too much. It also gives us 25% better AA DPS. It's not really that useful, okay? AA is a bit of a meme in this video game, but it's there, okay? It's there. Pushing in, managed to deal with that Wisconsin. We had a big team support behind us. But I think this is what Battleship play should be about, right? Where we're taking a lot of focus, we're dealing decent damage, but our teammates then come in and support us with a lot of the supplemental damage, spotting, our Jaeger helping us out on the flank there, getting rid of that sub early. Really would not have been able to deal with this without that. We're also not dealing with torp destroyers on our flank either. Very, very important that. Now we're going to find the broadside of this enemy main, and you'll see exactly why we need to stay so angled with this ship. I think this is great design, by the way, Wargaming. Can we have more of this, please? Maybe we could look at some of the older ships. Certainly a lot of the current ships you're releasing don't have above water citadels. This is why we should have tanky ships when angled, but when you go broadside, you get dev struck. Like, come on, right? That just makes sense. I'm playing well, I'm playing angled, I'm tanky, but as soon as I make a mistake, I can get nuked just like that. I think that is so fun. I think that is much more enjoyable than a ship that is just immune to damage, and it doesn't really matter what you do. at that point, again, am I really playing the game? Perhaps that's just for me. I've been playing World of Warships too long, and I'm looking for something that gives a challenge and rewards me then for playing well, punishes me for playing poorly. I don't know. Maybe that's just a me thing, but to me, that's what video games are kind of about. Certainly multiplayer games. A bit of an even playing field. We both have weaknesses. We both have strengths, although I say that as we're dealing with a poor open water Brisbane in his spawn. A bit of a blowout in this one too, but I would say we were the ones that contributed massively to that blowout, right? Still though, we want closer games, of course, but feels pretty good to get a push like that one going. Now this one, this one's not going to go as well for our team, unfortunately, but it's a tanky ship, okay? That's what this is really about. And also being able to play aggressive, trying to find opportunities to push in different angles. Notably, the enemy team, they're pushing towards the A cap. They're all angled towards A. People don't generally push mid like this, especially in carrier games, for good reason. Notice how much of our health is gone just a little bit later. But we can get alternate angles. We can get creative with it. I love battleships like this, okay? Maine really does this for me. It's still the 406s off of the Montana, so it's really not that much of an improvement. You're not going to see a ton of citadels at longer ranges into other super battleships. Certainly Maine at like 15 kilometers, I found it's pretty challenging, maybe possible. Certainly Satsuma, Ushakov, things like this. Yeah, the armor is too thick. But into poor tier 9s, yeah, it's very, very good. Oh, another confed. Confed's pretty simple to proc with this, given how much damage we are pumping up. The HE is well worth using too on this ship, by the way. It's maybe not British HE, but you're still getting decent alpha damage, 5700 alpha, as well as a 36% fire chance. Game went pretty close in this one, I gotta say. I was hoping to pull off the comeback here. Barely surviving, over 3 mil potential damage into this one. A lot of plane kills. Carrier understandably was on us, although it's not the most fun experience getting dropped by the carrier, but it makes sense. And so Maine struggling to survive, but managing it. Stalingrad, not sure how he got spotted. I think he actually shot there, but we really need to take him out if we're going to have any hope into this one. And look at this, F key into the AA. Look at this. Surely there's gonna be a lot of okay, yeah, it's really for the fires. That's what you're really using the F key for. I love some Maine. Maybe I should play a live one for you. I really do enjoy playing this ship. We just have to keep in mind that the game these days, the matchmaker, the balance, especially at super ships tier, it's very passive. So not all games are going to be the closest in the world, unfortunately. And this one, yeah, we are going to unfortunately lose this one as well. But we will pick up a Stalingrad here and get actually over 2,000 base XP on a loss, which I think is pretty good, all right? We did a lot of work to try and pull that one back. This is just a comfort ship for me. Super ship's maybe not the comfort tier, personally. I don't enjoy the meta here, but if I'm playing a super battleship, Maine is definitely the best one. You know, I should probably do these more often where I just talk through the thought process. As that's, I think, a very valuable way to learn how to play this game well. We're looking for cross maps, right? When we're playing a Maine 406s, no overmatch, didn't mention that yet. But also pushing up aggressively. Sure, we're going to get spotted here. We're first one spotted. Here's the matchmaker, by the way. But we got an island to cover us. And ideally, when we get shot at, that we're also going to get people spotted back. There's a Shikushima. And that's all right. We could play passive to start with and avoid all of this damage, but I would rather take the fight, personally. And in this case, the DD engagement is starting, and we want to help on that. Although he's going to slow down, sure. Slow down and turn out. We did not aim for that, and so we missed. That's okay. Horigamo could have used a torpedo reload booster to get to us. Notably, I believe this is an Edgar. So we want to be searching for that. Looks like our Tromp is probably going to go down. Yeah, Edgar Horigamo is a lot of DPM. Now, do I go after Horigamo or do I go after Edgar? Edgar, if he stays angled. Yeah, he's going to stay angled. So let's actually try and finish off this Horigamo. Be a good teammate, guys. I know the Edgar is tempting. I know. But 16 406s is pretty good against DDs, even if you're on AP. So it actually turns out we trade that. No damage in on the Edgar. Obviously, those dev strikes are really fun, but I think that was worth it. Too bad to lose a DD to that, though. Now I'm looking for cross maps up here, but I'm also now want to turn to this side and see if I can help my team there, as I don't think that Schlieffen is going to be spotted anytime soon. Enemy submarine pinging. Okay. We definitely want to be helping out on those. Enemy Gustav and Shikishima. Shikishima is quite broadside. Gustav is angled. We could do massive damage to Gustav's superstructure here. But I would like to shoot at the Shikishima broadside. And we're tanky, so we can kind of just sit in this channel. This is a great opportunity to find some broadsides. There you go, 25k. No citadels needed. It's just pure volume of fire here. Now, Gustav might try to go for some torps. We'll see here. If he does, then we can definitely get some big hits into him. Secondary main, not build, in my opinion. All right, not a build in my opinion. But they do okay at closer ranges. Now then, Edgar probably gets B, so we're going to have to be aware of that. Ooh, only 15. That's still good. Yep, there's the Edgar. Now, I can't exactly go broadside on. I'm worried about Gustav turning away. And this is why it's good that ships have exposed citadels, by the way. If I didn't have an exposed citadel, I would just go broadside on using all of my guns to turn and get Edgar. Is he paying attention? Surely he is, right? Wait, what? Okay. I promise this is not paid actor. What do you mean, bro? What are you doing? Okay. So submarines turn really short. Yeah, so we'll go like that. Oh, look, it's the Gustav I was talking about. Probably going for some torps. Looks like I'm gonna get my front guns on him. Nice, we get the sub. That's a big deal. It's a huge deal, in fact. We're running prop mod, by the way. That's why we accelerated so quickly. So this Gustav is going to go for his other side torps, okay? EU battleships are greedy for them. So we wait. Simply wait for it. See what I mean? We don't need DPM, all right? We simply need to wait for the opportunities to come to us, all right? This is battleship play in a nutshell, all right? Don't sit at the back, try to push up a bit, and then look for really common plays that enemies are going to do that are going to show you broadside. And whether or not you get the dev strikes or not, that's not really up to you. That's up to RNG, right? If you're thinking about what does it look like to play well as a battleship, it's kind of determined by how many broadsides you're seeing in a game. You know, that's maybe not the easiest way to think about it, but in my experience, that's generally how it feels. How many Shirleys or opportunities for those are you getting? And that generally seems to play out in how well I'm doing. Now, I'm pretty far back at this point, so, you know, there's not much in the middle of the map here. So let's push up and help our teammates on these two Shikishimas. You know, our Ohio is half HP, and I have 5 heals remaining. It's not a full value heal. Notice we're not getting the full 30k. We'll get 20k out of it. That's totally fine. Completely fine. We don't need to get perfect value out of every single heal. It's much better to just get back to the next one. Let's go after this Shikishima. Notice the torps here. All right, Jaeger hasn't been spotted for like 2 minutes. He could have been anywhere, but we know he's still up here somewhere. Notably, we do need to angle to the Shikishima. Our Ohio on this angle is going to force a crossfire. That's also kind of why I wanted to go down here. And that's why I started here too, by the way. Our team was very strong down here with battleships, and I was up here. I wanted to find those crossfires. We don't want to play right on top of our friendly battleships, because then they all have to angle to the exact same angle. There's no crossfire required. There's no decision making. This Shikishima turned in to the Ohio shot, and now he's showing cheek to our shot. Cheek, by the way, is right here. So that's where we're trying to hit. And that's where you get citadels on Yamato hull. See that? It's small things about your positioning. It takes a while. It takes a long while for you to reposition in a battleship. It takes forever. But it's well worth thinking ahead about crossfires. It's well worth thinking about, can I push up to a very aggressive island in the early game to help on the DD fight? All these things massively help your battle impact. It's not just about sitting at the back of the map in a kited position and then I guess you'll just shoot your guns all game. It's not as valuable. DPM is not as valuable. Where you're shooting from, what you're shooting at is much, much more important. Pushing spawn for a Jaeger, really not the best idea, but we do have good torp belt. Although he gets our engine right away. I would say that is unlucky. Damage con lasted long enough to give us the immunity time. Part of the reason I'm also interested in pushing like this is our teammates are pushing. Now our Sarkuf just got spotted, so we know Jaeger is very, very close. And pushing with your teammates is a big deal. This is a lot of Battleship play too, is a play like this would be very, very bad without teammates around. And with teammates though, I think it's very good. Our guys are, wow, maybe it's not luck. Is Maine engine just that vulnerable? I guess so. Interesting. Fortunately, Jaeger torps don't do much. And again, our torp protection is very, very good. But you can see how bad this is going, even with our DDs trying to help us. Although our GQ Johnny has turned in a little too much. Aha! No, no, they found him. They found him. Let's go. And again, Battleship guns do pretty well into DDs. I think that's probably got him. Bit of a yoink. Thank you to my destroyer friend for spotting that. Otherwise, I would have gone back and around this way to the B-cap. All right. Decent example. Bit of a weaker flank, but perhaps our positioning allowed us to catch a lot of broadsides and weaken that flank early, too. It's another way of looking at it. Positional play. It's all about the positions you take with Battleship. So pretty good result there from Maine. Just a random game I hopped into live. Seriously, did not play any more. Just literally clicked battle and we got that one. Good example. Not a crazy match by any means, but a decent example to talk through. Here's our armor, by the way. 38 millimeters is very, very nice. Like I said, I started recording patrie a little bit. Woo, this armor and these guns. Wow, they are terrible. We'll see if that continues, but so far it's been very bad with patrie, unfortunately. These guns, though, beautiful, beautifully consistent, and this armor is quite a lot better. And we do have to be careful, of course. I love this design, by the way. The very vulnerable belt armor here. I love this so much. I miss the old days a little bit, I gotta say, when Montana did have that weak point as well. Monty, by the way, now has this for a citadel. It is waterline exactly. It used to include all of this. I miss those days when ships were designed with giant weaknesses in mind that you could mitigate. Like, it's not like it was that bad to deal with. Like, if you went broadside, you'd get punished. You stayed angled, you wouldn't. I really, really preferred that. So that's why part of the reason I like Maine so much too. And it's by no means a weak ship either. Sometimes when they add these weaknesses to ships, it becomes a, why would we ever even play that? Because I can just play a ship that doesn't have these weaknesses. But Maine's got so many other strengths that when you play it well, it's well worth playing anyway. 51% torp protection here, beautiful. Huge HP pool, decent concealment as well, 14.3. I don't see any reason why any battleship at high tier should be below 14 kilometer detect, to be honest with you. Even this feels very, very, very good for a battleship with these kind of guns. Another design decision I'm not so sure of with some of the battleships in the game, Vermont namely. But this is very good. More than enough to be going undetected between shots, surprising cruisers, that kind of thing. Not the best turning circle radius, but slightly better rudder shift actually than Monty as well. Here's the build that I was running, at least in this one. Not always, in fact, not often getting to that 6th seal, but it's a lot of potential damage comes in towards Maine. So getting back to your heals sooner, it's another reason that I am more often just clicking heal when it's not a fully maximized optimal heal. Because you have so much healing, you may as well get through it. And in the very tense, close games, which I love so much, oftentimes having that last heal can make the difference. And I'm willing to give up for that. I sometimes was using heavy AP. I would even try Furious heavy AP, give up concealment for that, for example. You can do that. But we already have enough alpha damage. This is, I think, the highest broadside alpha damage in the game. It's over 200,000 per salvo. That's if you hit every single citadel, which is not going to happen, but very, very strong. I love me some Maine. We'll see if Satsuma F key can upset Maine as my favorite super battleship. I doubt it. The F key is very strong, but it doesn't have the tankiness to play like a very standard battleship playstyle like we were able to today, and that's my favorite. Games like the one I just showed you, as well as some of the highlights. It's my favorite to be able to just push up with my team, support them, take some hits, deal damage back. Feel like I'm playing the game, you know? And that's what Maine is all about. I love this thing. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. 2026, Maine, still an absolute monster. Well worth going for. Monty, probably my recommended line to go for beginners anyway. You got yourself an incredible super battleship at the very end. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.